I'm a huge fan of Hound units, as you should know. They're basically light cavalry without being actually cavalry, as they do count as infantry. They also have 60 unit models, which is more than your typical 45 cavalry. And I haven't actually talked about Chaos Poison Warhounds. Just Chaos Warhounds in general. This is obviously the Poison variant, and there's only one in this Warriors of Chaos build. Here we've got another World Championship replay. This is Sovereign versus Nanomashoes here. Warriors of Chaos versus Greenskins. It should be a very bloody affair. We've got Knights with Lances, some Marauders, 2 Chosen with great weapons, plus 3 Chaos Warriors, one of which, of course, are Warhammer Guard in pretty much every single Warriors of Chaos game. We've also got Archaon the Ever-Chosen here, Chaos Feral Manticore, and then, of course, this one unit of Poison Warhounds, 2 Marauder Horsemen. As for the Greenskins, Wolf Rider Archers, Mangy Marauders, and probably, yep, Spider Riders combined with them. Up front, 3 Skulkers, 2 Black Orcs, including the Crimson Killers, so lots and lots of AP infantry, supported by more AP, Stone Trolls, Spider Riders, Hammer of Gork, Bob Skarsnik, and a River Troll Hag. So, what's so good about Hounds? Well, I mean, you look at it on paper, and they actually don't look amazing. Only 26 attack, which is actually pretty good. 22 weapon strength, which is decent for cavalry. 18 charge is okay. 17 defense is not great. 15 armor is not great. Leadership is very bad. But their speed, 95 speed, and of course, having poison means they are probably the best unit in the game, one of the best units in the game at chasing, routing units, and that is very, very critical. Of course, with Warriors of Chaos as well, you generally lack tactical flexibility, given that your units are a little bit slower than, say, Beastmen or Norska, the other kind of Chaos Rush factions, right? Warriors of Chaos, probably as a general rule, is kind of the slowest in many aspects. So having that fast attack unit certainly does help. Here, they're going to come around and get tangled up a little bit with these Spider Riders. Spider Riders then choose to pull away, which is potentially a mistake. The Spider Riders probably win that engagement, but instead they're going to use Mither and then charge over, use that poison as well to stop up these Marauder Horsemen. But this is actually kind of a bad play for these Spider Riders to make, just because they get overwhelmed by the numbers here. The Wolf Riders and other Spider Riders do eventually rush in to kind of even out the numbers game a little bit, but these Chaos Poison Warhounds all of a sudden are going to get really nice work done on a unit that kind of mainly threatens them, and it might not seem like that important when we've got all these other high-value units around, but it will prove critical. Manticore comes in and just gets mollywopped by Trolls. Does manage to take out one of the Hammer of Gork artillery pieces, though. Not necessarily worth it, but it's okay. That is going to be applying that blind debuff to the Mirror Guard. You can see they're down to 21 and 30 in terms of stats. The Skulkers are winning, so they get their Opportunist Murder. They go up to 38 attack, 31 weapon strength with great AP. A nice Burning Head, though, just going to finish off one unit of Skulkers. We'll also apply some leadership debuffs to those Trolls. Probably not likely to rout there, but the Chosen with great weapons will follow up pretty aggressively. Meanwhile, Wah gets popped, and having won against the Spider Riders, they've routed off the majority of them. Poison Warhounds are now sent to start chasing off some decently high value. Mangy Marauders are 600 points, so there's some definite value in chasing there. Also swinging back around, potentially going to rout off the Spider Rider Archers so that there's not as much to trade into the Horsemen. Nope, looked like yes, that is in fact what they're going to do. Meanwhile, in the center, Skarsnik's just fighting in an unholy troll blob. Well, there's not really a lot to see here, just Chosen kind of grinding with Trolls. The Chaos Knights with Lances do come around. They're going to get hit by a Mither and immediately just bumped on by Trolls, just full-on charge. The Trolls do get a little bit strung out, though. Chosen might be able to come in and do some okay damage, but the Chosen have also taken a ton of damage. Yeah, Poison Hounds helping out in the mobility engagement, though. You can see they're now swinging onto this Hammer of Gork. Of course, great at taking out light artillery crews as well. There's another fundamental role of light cavalry. I would say kind of taking out skirmishers and chasing routing units is their 2 primary roles, and Hounds do that both very well. The fact that you can also kind of go mass Hound attack, and you'll see if you look up Chaos and Beastmen, and even Vampire Counts and Vampire Coast with their Direwolves, and kind of just look through the games that I have posted on my channel, you will see quite a few games where I use kind of mass Hounds to overwhelm like a specific flank and just hard overload like, say, a braced spear, because they don't get subjected to that charge defense against large, as they count as infantry. Yeah, here, though, another great use of these hounds by Sovereign to then, again, use them to chase off Black Orcs. If we check in on these Warhounds, they're up to 900 value already and rapidly climbing, so they've twice paid for themselves, basically, right? At this point, and there's still plenty of battle left. Given the situation, Warriors of Chaos are a little bit behind on the balance power. A lot of their expensive infantry has been well wrecked at this point. The Hounds are going to have to do some work right now. Javelin Horsemen just throwing in their shots, doing some decent damage to the Stone Trolls. Stone Trolls, I believe, did have their missile resistance nerfed, I want to say, down to 25% from 30%, so they'll be taking a little bit better damage from there. The Rallied Knights with Lances come back at a pretty impactful charge on the Crimson Killers here, and along with the Chosen with great weapons fighting them in this kind of elite melee here, will be pretty decent. Another Mither gets popped, though, as the Knights swing around to charge the Trolls, kind of counter-charge here and keep them from directly charging the Chosen, which is probably a good idea. Yeah, Crimson Killer's still fighting, though. Their leadership is quite good, down to 12 models, but the Chosen 36 models have also done some really nice damage here. But as the unholy blob ensues, the Hounds will be finally swinging back to kind of make their mark, and this is a potential for great value here as well, getting a nice timely rear charge to try and rout off these Trolls. There's no source of terror here, not that that would matter because of the immune to psychology from Bob. But all in, everything overloads, and the Hounds are just kind of part of the combined force at this point, right? And the poison's pretty important. All these units kind of having their speed be debuffed means they'll take more incidental hits from all various other targets. And now they can do what they do best and start to chase, like this River Troll Hag, for example. Marauder Horsemen likewise could also peel, but it looks like the Stone Trolls are actually shattered, at least that unit there. Crimson Kill is also shattered. Got this unit of Stone Trolls, and you do have to be careful. Given the unit that they're chasing, sometimes if the unit's healthy enough, you know, and they can get some leadership buffs from like weaker units nearby, basically. And actually come back from rallying and just completely wreck your Hounds. So you don't want to chase off like an elite monster, for example, right? With just these guys, unless it's extremely low on health. In which case it's probably fine, but even still, like it might just come back from rout and immediately terrify them. So there is that to consider, but especially like these kind of low to mid-tier units especially, and like units which don't necessarily have the greatest base leadership to begin with. Black Orcs do have great leadership for greenskins, but still you compare them to kind of other elite infantry. Like, I think Chosen, even though they don't have immune to psychology, have higher base leadership. So there's some kind of interactions to consider there, but yeah, right now just chasing off the Hag. At this point, balance power still showing slightly in the greenskins' favor, although it's not looking great with them getting kind of all spread out here. Bob is now getting pursued by Archaon. Archaon's going to be getting some hits there. Bob won't like that at all. Skarsnik's still trying to bail out the Hounds, but you can see there between the exhaustion and the poison, you can't see the effect on speed, unfortunately, from Vigor. That will probably change in Total War Warhammer 3 if Troy is anything to go by, because this does show the kind of energy, sort of vigor level, if you will. Troy does show that in the UI. Total War Warhammer 2 does not, unfortunately, but yeah, you see the modifier from poison is in effect there. That plus the exhaustion just means that this River Troll Hag, there's literally no way that she's going to get away from those poison Warhounds, and will likely actually get finished off here, given she only has 50 armor. Let's see, will the doggos finish it off? Yes, down goes the Troll Hag. Those are some good boys right there, the best boys, honestly, and girls, of course. We don't discriminate, Chaos doesn't discriminate. Oh man, so excited for Game 3 too. Yeah, that was an interesting sentence. Also, I'm so excited for Game 3. Really hoping that the Warriors of Chaos get some more stuff. But let's take a minute to appreciate the tools they do have. Poison Warhounds or the Beastmen, which we did not picture here, also very strong. But I would argue they're more important for the Warriors of Chaos, given that the Warriors of Chaos don't have as many fast attack units, as Skarsnik gets multi-pummeled there by everything around him. Sovereign manages to take home a win there, even though things are looking a little bit grim bones in terms of the balance of power. Just staying calm, sticking to your hounds, and at the end of the day, 104 kills, almost 2,000 damage value from those poison warhounds. Good boys. Lots of mutated bones and, you know, spawn tentacles. I'm sure they love chewing on those too. So just all of that. Yep, all of it for the good boys and girls. Marauder Horsemen also generated some great value in a similar role, kind of skirmishing, chasing routing units. The Manticore getting pummeled. Honestly, I don't mind. Manticores are very strong, and sometimes it's nice to just see them get smashed. Knights with Lances, though, could really use some buffs. They're pretty terrible, to be honest. Maybe the worst elite shock cavalry. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and say the worst elite shock cavalry. Chosen, one of them paid for themselves, one of them did not, but they do pretty decently in this matchup if they don't get absolutely steamrolled by shock damage. Mirror Guard, though, had that problem, as did these other Chaos Warriors. This one actually, it trades quite cost-effectively. Arcanon also, 2,400 damage value, pretty decent stuff there. Scarsnick does okay, more here for support and other stuff, but yeah, got some okay damage in himself. Same thing with, like, Bob and the Troll Hag there. Skulkers, actually, some of them generate decent value trading into, like, Chaos Warriors and stuff. They can trade well upwards with the right buffs, but sometimes they'll struggle to be cost-effective. I used to be a lot bigger fans of these guys than I am now. They can be good in certain matchups, but Black Orcs, man, one of them getting hard crumped. Crimson Kill is just about paying for themselves. Stone Trolls doing their thing. I mean, they're always a good choice, basically. But I think for the Greenskins, you almost need to go wider in terms of mobility, because honestly, one unit of Warhounds was able to dominate all three of these light cavalry units, right? Most of the time, Greenskins, if you really want to play most competitive, you bring six skirmish cav, because you can, and why would you not? You have higher range than the javelins, so even your Wolf Rider archers can trade super cost effectively into all their Marauder Horsemen. And yeah, and that way you have just more numbers too to go after hounds and stuff. You can multi-charge them from different directions, route them off quite easily. Just not enough numbers in terms of light cavalry here. I think I might, honestly, a lot of AP here. You could probably cut one of these Black Orcs and just go with more like skirmish cav or something like that. Anyway, regardless though, Poison Warhounds are one of those hound units that's great, and Warriors of Chaos definitely make excellent use of it. Obviously, Beastmen, it's important for them too. Norska has doesn't have the poison variant specifically, but they do have Norscan Warhounds, which are basically the same as the base unit, right? Norska also has Ice Wolves, which it should be noted are not infantry size. They actually work a little bit differently than the Poison Warhounds. They're also a little bit more expensive as well. So if you go ahead and take a look here, you will see some notable differences. 650, obviously, versus 475. They have more weapon strength, but less models, like almost half as many models. They have way more HP per model, though, as a result. Same armor profile, better leadership. They have Frostbite instead of Poison. A little bit better melee defense, much better weapon strength, and they actually don't have Vanguard, but pick up Fear instead. So it's kind of interesting. They do hit a little bit harder, and more charge bonus as well, considerably more charge bonus, but they do count as large, which kind of loses some of the benefit of taking a regular Hound unit. But obviously the Chaos Warhounds are exactly the same as Norscan Warhounds. One thing I didn't mention in the cast too, obviously Vanguard, but Strider is also super important. Being able to go up and downhill at full speed, and also being able to move, you know, through trees. Forests they didn't really have a problem with before because they counted it as an infantry, right? But having Strider is quite important in operating on certain maps, especially, and kind of laying those traps and ambushes, sneaky schemes. Poison Hounds are great for that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you do like this sort of content, found it useful, be sure to give it a like, share with your friends, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification button if you want to see some more. Big thanks once again, and we'll see you next time.